Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one, as you can see, we have GAREN jungle being invaded late by a Pike and a Syndra and a Viego and a Samira pushed away from our starting camp, which was going to be an E-spin on the Raptors. But that will happen when you play GAREN jungle and off-meta junglers and anything in Korea that's kind of weird and that they think they can destroy. As you would have seen, runes on your screen are standard stuff. We are being late invaded here. We are being compromised, but we are GAREN. We don't care. We have Warmog's passive. We have a slow removal silence Q. We have a shield armor and MR stacking W that also reduces tenacity. We have a thing that shreds armor should we hit you 6 times with our fidget spinner E. And then we have a 25% missing HP Demacia button. Virkayu.gg's comprehensive courses will give you all of the up-to-date information you need to climb on your MMR. This is all in addition to our powerful one-on-one coaching and access to the coaching VOD library. Take your potential and convert it into reality. So I have a kit here that obviously can be used to carry. Now typically we view it as a low elo champion, but there's people even in, NA Academy, semi-pro, whatever it is, using this, and people aren't banning it away. They should, because you can't play anything else, but hey, that's a different discussion. Point is, GAREN can carry games. Now, we obviously have the Viego doing vertical jungling in Season 13, unironically, with an Ashe as the support who can just hit Hawk Shot that gives us the information. And you know what, a 238, finishing up the red side, 241, like, what are we doing here? This is such a waste of time, because now the GAREN can easily go ahead and say, fine, I'll take this, because we've got the Warmog's passive, right? We just regen and spin. And the thing is, Viego can do a blue side into a red side cross at 2 minutes 22, right? Blue side into red side cross at 2 minutes 22. So why wouldn't we do this and just use the advantage we have, which is clear speed, to do something else, to do other actions on the map? Now here, basically, this is, oh boy, we have a Tryndamere, uh-oh. Run away, we get the silence, we get the spin, we have the ghost, we have the shield, but we fall and give doubles to the Tryndamere. This is the downside of off-meta junglers. Now don't turn away, because, as I said, we will win, and we will do the most damage. And if you're an off-meta jungler, you have to know to navigate these situations. You're not going to be sitting around boiling water, although if you play GAREN, that's at 100 degrees Celsius, just so you know. And getting away with it for no particular reason. People are going to try and invade you and deal with you in unjustly ways. And of course, we want to give them the justice. So we have here the dagger bot, which means we're going to go to the bottom side here, and we should know this player is a Grandmaster jungler. Hey, he started my Raptors. It's not going to be quite up yet. It's going to be close to being up, but not quite. There we go. See the timer? Because of the delayed invade. Syndra, on the other hand, is over pushing, not respecting the GAREN speed up. So we're going to speed up, get the silence, do the spinnies, and then, of course, burn the flash. We'll take that. Hey, can we push this wave for you, madam? Yes. Okay, great. Excellent. Free experience. We have here the Calm rotating. The Viego comes out of his blue side with 28 CS, knowing that he lost his Krugs as well. So he didn't lose his Krugs. He lost his red and his Raptors. His Krugs are available. But because he did our whole red side, his whole blue side, and the Scuttle Crab, he has 28 CS. So now we know that we have the timer on his Raptors. The Viego knows that that's going to be available. Now the Viego could look to use pressure to get back in here to really shove us out. But obviously now it's not such a good idea because Syndra has no flash. He needs to go back to base. We know Karma's going to be rotating, but GAREN says, I expect this. I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to be smart about it. And instead of going to the Krugs, important, going to Krugs means now what? Now what do? Nothing. So let's just do Raptors, Wolves, Grump, just to get the tier 1 Grump off the map. Let's get our tier 2 Raptors, which of course the next level Infuse experience, level 4 Wolves off the map. Try and get that level 5 spike as soon as possible, which of course we're a long way from getting, unfortunately. But we'll get there eventually. And we do know that the Viego most likely now at this point, knowing that he did this into this, will go top side and gank the top lane. We see him, again, I haven't seen these games, it's just obvious because if you go by timers, right, he did red side, quadrant, bottom side, he did the blue side afterwards. I just took the Raptors. His blue side isn't going to be available when he goes back to base for the first time. The only thing available on the map that he knows is there are the Krugs. And he also knows that this will spawn basically at the same time or ahead of his blue side, which means it makes sense for him to go to the top side, down, and if top is gankable, move on up and get the gank. Viego moves into the bushes, as we saw there, going back to base most likely, and we shall just hold this beautiful wave for our lovely top laner. Tryndamere does have ult though, however we are GAREN, so we have silences, we have shields, we have scaling resistances. This is now what we call a little bit cheeky, because we're cutting this wave. He's going in, he's getting grounded by the beautiful button that is Miasma. We're going to see if we can get the silence here, but no, we're just going to keep doing this. We'll just wait for him to kind of Well, we got it there, but is he fast? There he is! Come back, sir! His spin will be up soon, but who is the better spinner? Find out. It's Garen. Is it Garen? It's Garen! Yes. Well done, Garen. So, what are we looking at from an off-meta perspective here? When your champion is a good fister, you're looking to make sure that you can at least get your 3, 4, 5 spike through whatever camps you can get. If you get invaded, counter jungle in response, okay? We have here the pings from the red team kind of going, well, look at this jungle diff, and Viego says, yeah, you know what, actually, yeah, because even though the Viego's 2-0-0, the Garen is now up 4 CS, the Garen also has a kill, and the Viego used vertical jungling, which inherently is going to force the Garen to do this, and the Viego did try and offset it. To his credit, he did offset it, he did get the gank off, and the Tryndamere signed his own death warrant here. So it's not Viego's fault, but when you do vertical jungling, you are opening yourselves to these possibilities. And you know what? The denial just doesn't work in this season. That's the whole point of what I'm saying here. Because of the way kill experience and catch-up experience works, it doesn't really matter. As long as Garen gets some waves, gets a kill, the Tryndamere is up 2 levels, we get that infusion, right? So it's great for us. And now the Viego's like, well, that was all for nothing. So you might as well use what you can do way better than the Garen to your advantage, right? Let him full clear and waste his time, because that's what they like to do. Let him be busy doing off-meta things, and I will just ensure that I'm clearing faster, twice as fast, lapping him, and impacting every lane in a cohesive way such that he just doesn't get freebies, like my Raptors and Red. However, for now, this is fine. We have the plant hit over here. We obviously know the Viego shot a bot lane, got that kill, went to the blue side, probably looks to sequence up. Garen's just taking his Krugs, taking his Raptors. Viego's most likely going to get away with this. Let's see if the Ash Hawk shot reveals things. And we see, aha, a dive is afoot. So Garen can say, let me rotate. See, this is why I hate the Ash Hawk shot. You know, we don't know categorically that this was going to happen at all. Like, we have no inclination. We're just basically going to sequence up and be like, well, my stuff's got nothing I can do about it. Ash gives that away. And now the Karma can react, the Garen can react, but you see, we don't collapse on it. We don't have the numbers at this particular point. We're kind of waiting a little bit. He chooses to go for the Grump instead of the blue because, again, the Grump has more gold and it's worth a little bit more experience in that particular case. Sorry, more experience. And now we are being collapsed upon. This is classic team fighting. If you have 2 people from the left, 2 people from the right, and you're 4 in the middle, okay, so, right, we have, all right then. So if you have 4 people in the middle of a fight, and 2 people coming from the side, and 2 people coming from the side, and you're the 4, you just turn on one of the 2 sides, and you just kill them, and you be like, haha, and now you're the 4, and they're the 2, yes? The problem is, you're Garen, so you just demass your button, and you're strong. Like, the Tryndamere gets kills, and he has Gale Force, that's great. But what happens when we have Gale Force? And we have no very quick blades. Garen, ability haste, base cooldowns, very nice. The slow removal and the tenacity shred, can we call it tenacity shred? Tenacity reduction, technically 60%. You know, that's great, okay? But at the same time, also damage reduction worth noting. At the same time, we also do so much damage. So it's so difficult to deal with a fed Garen, right? Especially when you go classically like the Stryberg. Now the Viego's up here with the Pike. We're just gonna do the silence, the spinny, get the movement speed here. It looks like we might most likely just be dead. Okay, so basically Garen decides, hey, I would like to go venturing for a Herald, and their team collapses and says no. So remember, you will be squishy. You will die a lot, and it's not the point. The point about off meta is getting to the stage of the game where it doesn't matter that you are a jungler. I can honestly say that Miasma is one of the most broken buttons in the game. And I don't like seeing Cassio top, but when she's doing that to a Tryndamere who's diving, I'm happy and satisfied. So the jungling aspect, again, this is a jungle main. He knows how to play aggressively. This guy also plays Rengar, right? In Grandmaster Create, he knows that when he gets kills and gold, it's more important on him than others. The problem is he's Garen right now. So we see here the Syndra comes to the mid lane, shadowing the side, which means most likely Viego Pike, but Viego shows in the top lane instead of down here, so now we say, okay, we don't need to react. I'll let him go there. I'm going to take this. Viego's now level 8. We're level 7. It's fine. We have 50% KP, 67 CSs. We're only down a little bit versus Viego. We're within touching distance of the off-meta jungler. We have to get to the stage of the game when we can become the Garen. The water truly is boiling, and Viego will feel it. He's getting buffed next patch. Finally, some more crit scaling. So Riot is saying, guys, please both Kraken Slayer, but obviously in high elo against these comms, Divine Sundra is always going to do the good work. We shouted out to the bottom side. Viego shows in the mid lane. Finally, he is going for the W. He isn't going for the W. Garen is like, yes, let's go. All right, I like this. The Ashe... the Ashe era, man. Combo with Garen is quite funny because we have super speed ups. Cassie actually comes down from the top side here. It's a miasma. We're just gonna go in and we'll... Whoa. The shield, so you don't get executed by the pike. Nice rotation again. The ghost is super huge on this champion, right? Because while we don't have map scaling, we have movement speed in our kit plus the ghost, which means you can gap close, get the silence, get the spinnies, get 6 hits, start shredding armor, get the missing HP, boom. It's pretty easy to assassinate people just front to back. And that's why he's nice to learn and to use for a lot of top laners and fighter desirers, because the access point into fights is just run at them. You know, whereas other fighters like Viego and things like this, you always got to look for angles sometimes. Why are we doing this? Trindamirs have a condition, I think. They really just have a condition, don't they? They just know how to push and then go proxy and then they complain when they die. So Akali's going to try go in here. He has his ultimate available, so we're going to use the speed up here. We're going to spin. I'm going to be honest. I expected that, but I also didn't expect that. But the Demacia button is starting to come online. We have a new quiver. Huge for this champion. Now you can obviously go Iron Spike Whip into the Stride Breaker button, you know, for the slows and the hooks and so on. Why? Let's just go Kraken Slayer, farm fast, especially seeing as you need to get these, like, you're going to be invaded a lot, right? So you need to get these camps. We're the same CS, higher KP. Yes, we've lost a Herald and a Dragon, but I'm going to say that's pretty good. Even though we've died 3 times, it's largely been because of level 1 invades, Pike rotating, you know, as a team trying to shut me down. It's not Viego just walking at us and killing us. If that was the case, we just win those fights, or we just don't take them. We say, okay, you take my top side, I'll take my bottom side and take your bottom side. So you kind of give them away something. You give them one thing to take 2 things. That's the kind of off-meta philosophy, right? He goes here like, fine, I'll take this, and then fall back to this, and now we're equal, right? From your perspective, we're equal, but we're actually ahead. So that's the kind of positioning you want to do if you're being invaded by a meta jungler you can't fight. But Garen can fight people, because he's Garen. A little bit of a bonk that would have probably ticked down. We have the Pike going to the mid lane here. Akali's going in on the Syndra. The Viego's E shows up from the Shadow Isles. The Pike hook misses. The Ashe arrow is so cinematic. You just freeze frame that. Put it on a PC box, you know what I mean? I think... Gale Force. Gale Force, my friends. Gale Force and Ghost. He just ran, Gale Forced, and said, good night. And it worked. Now, of course, the Samira is rotating here again. We have the silence button. See, just silence and spin to win. The Tryndamere has shown up. His ult, his flash is burned. His undying rage is actually turning out to be quite dying. Pike is under the tower. Kali repositions. The wave will crash. Garen says, I will flank. Demacia button is available. Smite for the slow. Are we in range? Can we get in range? Can we get in range? We cannot get in range. We have the shield as we need. We use it. Worried about the Viego. Resets. Pike resets. Viego resets. Not so good. Miasma is used very, very nicely. Couldn't quite get into range. So there is where the Stride Breaker would be better, right? Obviously, our Gale Force was down, so maybe our Stride Breaker is down as well. Viego's showing up here, but now we just regen. Look at this. Healing. 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 So it's max health. That's the point, right? When you build HP, you get more regeneration. But at the same time, this doesn't look so bad to me. I mean, I know we had a red buff, and we have a red buff. I know that. But that's not so bad, right? It's not like you need to go ahead and build some HP and watch the Woolmark's passive. Although you could. And that's what you do, but Assassin Garen with Zeal, that's the 1v9 strategy. I mean, it's just funny. Because no one ever will expect it. No one will expect it. They don't know what jungle Garen does. And the thing is, when you put a top laner like this in the jungle, everyone knows what he does on the top lane, but you have this period of time where you just don't see the top laners. They're on Love Island, you know, they're doing the reality TV shows, no one's paying attention to them. And then they show up, level 14, they run at you as the ADC, and you go, well then, at least I got to enjoy the game for the first 17 minutes. Now, though, he's a jungle, so he's all over the map, and people don't know what to expect at the different level spikes. So they try and shut you down. It doesn't matter, because you can't, because you're Garen. Because as long as you get something here or something there, as long as you get something back, a kill back here, an assist back here, you're good to go. So we are now in the Berserkers, Gale Force, Zeal item combination. I'm excited to see how this pans out, actually. 15 minutes in, Pike hook, Syndra over the wall, dead Karma, out of position. Again, the whole team is really grouped up together. Even Garen says, maybe I should probably not do this. Whoa! I love seeing Pyke die. I love it. The champion is disgusting. Yeah, I don't care when he can be a 38% win rate. The design, the actual champion, right? Not the state of the champion. Don't like the state, the physical design of the champion. But that's the fun. He goes in, hooks the Garen, or tries to hook the Garen, and Garen says, "What if I just silence you, spin your bit, and then Demacia you?" There you go. And with the crit scaling, it works out pretty well. So the Trinity is now moving with Viego to the Herald here. Kale shoving top lane. Cassio and Karma aren't really in the picture, so we're like, do we really coin flip this? You kind of want to be careful. What do we have in pocket here? 1,000? It's not that bad. Viego shows top lane actually against the Akali, so I'm looking at the numbers. And Ash Arrow actually connects. We'll get the spins to win. Will he have his Undying Rage? He does have it available. Do we have ultimate? No, of course not. We just used it. We're running away. Miasma, the burn. I mean, the silence is enough. Like, that's why Teemo and things like this are so good against Tryndamere, because if you can just silence him, where he can't actually do anything while he's running at you, you can always kill him as he has to run away. So, you know, this is just a straight up missing HP button. So you just want to get them as low as possible. That goes up to 35% max rank. And here's where you get all your AD scaling on that shred, right? And of course, shredding armor through your kit, it's such a thing that's not discussed. Jarvan Q, this thing, right? Can you guys read that? 6 seconds, right? 6 strikes, you lose 25% armor. Just like that. These things in kits are not discussed because they think, oh, well, it doesn't affect squishies. Well, of course it affects squishies, right? Imagine you lose a quarter of your armor as an ADC or a squishy champion, and this guy goes and just does true damage to you because he's already shredded you down to that point because your armor was negated. And that's the thing. You lose your armor because the true damage doesn't care about your resistances, right? Obviously, it's true damage. But that Ash Arrow also missed. Hold on. We'll get to that in a second. I was being clunky about it. But we're going to go in here, force the flashes, the Marcia button once more. We do lose a dragon, unfortunately. We get the Everfrost, but we're grouping together. It's really, really... The damage is absolutely insane. So the idea is, look, yes, we do true damage, but it's a certain amount. So we need to get to that point where it's just basically guaranteed execute. We do that by ensuring that anyone with a bit more armor, or even those champions that are building Zhonya's and things like this, we can shred their armor, get them to that low threshold as soon as possible. When you shred the armor, it allows you to get to that 25% missing HP sooner, right? Which means you can execute sooner. So that's what we're trying to get to. But it's something worth noting. You're a tank, you go against the Garen, and you're like, damn. Wait, well, as I said, you are squishy, and Tryndamere is basically just another variation of you. In a different way. It's like if Garen's a black hole, Tryndamere is the white hole, right? Different kind of thing. So, yes, you're very good at doing damage and getting that execute. Yes, you're also very squishy, but these little idiosyncrasies and simple kits that people don't keep track of is why they don't know how to deal with them. That's what it ends up being. Simple champions are not difficult to... Oh my goodness gracious, Ash, can we hit one arrow? I mean, it's lovely. I love having the sort of Marvel cinematic effect with the excellent effects of the Ash Arrow just flying off in the distance, having no purpose whatsoever, but I would like it if you could hit one, please. Just one. That would be lovely. Thank you. Anyway, so, I mean, these little things that I'm talking about, they really do make a difference when you actually understand that, hey, look, Garen silences, yes, but he also removes the slows. Hey, Garen gets a shield and scaling magic resistant and armor, yes, but he also reduces incoming damage by 30% and shreds 60% tenacity. So when you take all of the simple abilities and read the tooltip, it makes a big difference in terms of how you interact with the champion when their sort of kit is quite simple to face, if that makes sense. And that's why it works, because people don't think about these things. They don't track these things. They don't know about this 25% armor loss for 6 seconds. They'll just fight a Garen as a tanky person and be like, wait, why am I dying? Because you lost a quarter of your armor, and then he does true damage to you on your missing HP. Worth noting. Okay, so we have a fight here. I just wanted to stop that thought because things were happening. Our team was mispositioned. We had Akali in the bottom side. We had Garen in the Grump. We went a path towards our team in the mid game. They have now managed to execute our Cassiopeia, but now Akali's flanking from the side. We're flanking from the side, and we're going to see if we can maybe clean something up. Let's have a look. We're 20 minutes in. We're up 5 kills. Gold is pretty much equal. They're a little bit ahead. We're going to lose this tier 1, unfortunately. Garen is now going backline to kill the Ashe. Akali should be able to finish that up. Yes, she does. Garen's assassinating position. Akali's over the wall here. Akali goes in and kills the Pyke. Nicely done. And we're basically saying, Garen, help us. And Garen's like, no, I'm waiting for the moment. I'm a Rengar player. There we go. Gale Force position. We are now going to try and get another kill here. Do we have the Demacia button? No, we don't. We die. We used the Demacia button. We're dead. Oh, well. Anyway, that was a bit of an anticlimactic moment. However, at the very least, I don't know. But at the very least, we didn't lose anything else. Yeah, they didn't get Baron, they didn't get this, they didn't get this. Fine. Now, obviously, with true damage penetrating resistances, things like shields can do a huge thing against any one of those ultimates. So the Stone Plate as a tank, I would like to use that shield just to protect myself against Garens and pikes and things like that. Always good to have that in your back pocket. Now, we are going to respawn. Can we respawn, please? Thank you so much. Here we go. Garen, 856. We now have the rapid fire cannon. Rapid fire cannon. There we go. And can probably go into a Navori quick blaze or something like that. Ash arrow hits onto the Trinimir, who has his ultimate available. The Karma tether will go through. He will be slow, but Undyne range is active. We will chase him down. We board a path sideways for some particular reason. Keep your mouse close to your character so that you can actually afford to, you know, be nimble, but without pathing in the wrong direction. But because we shoved them off, because they overstayed, we're going to get a Baron. So you're worrying about in silver, hey, you know, we lost a fight. Now we're going to lose the game. In silver, what will happen is, hold on, they're contesting, but we rinse it. With Cassiopeia, we really rinse it. Viego goes backline, gets silenced, and then gets ulted and killed by the Garen and the Akali and the Cassiopeia and the whole team. So what happens is, the red team will win this fight in silver and go for the Baron. They'll get super, super low. Everyone's just respawning, running at them. You kill them because they committed to the Baron with like 2,000 golden pocket, and then you kill the Baron, right? In higher elo, what's going to happen is, they will realize, look, we don't have the numbers or ability to do this Baron, but at the very least we can push waves and then set up to do this or to do this next. The difference is some people don't have that discipline, like the Trinimir, like the Pike. They will be out of position. Everyone will respawn and you can just go kill them and then take the Baron for yourself. So even in this elo, those misplays happen all the time. So if you're in silver, always look for this kind of stuff, right? Look for those picks, get that tempo back in your control, especially after a lost fight. You lose a fight doesn't mean the end of the game. Now we're caught out a little bit and we, with this build, you probably don't want to be frontlining. You definitely don't want to be frontlining. Now let's see what happens because of our grievous error, or an egregious error rather. What the hell was that? That was absolutely disgusting, Cassiopeia. She dies for it, but that was absolutely disgusting. Wow. And now there's Cassiopeia on the enemy team because Viego, he's gonna ult, he's gonna go in, he hits the stun. Zhonya's burn, baby, burn. And he flashes in to get that kill, gets a healing. Now Akali versus the okay, well. Viego is 200 Gias, but so is Akali, and she's like one of the original 200 Gias. Actually, technically, that meme was made from, you know, a Wukong rework, and then Aphelios came out, so it was kind of like, you know, transferred over to that, but it's funny that tweet was used for a Wukong rework, which turned out to be entirely correct, by the way. 2020, everyone said Wukong is too weak, and then the designer said, no, he's not. He's actually quite strong. They released a rework in 2020. Turns out he was obnoxiously strong, like you had to permaban. It was absolutely disgusting. You think of him how he's been strong since then, it was absolutely insane how potent and powerful that champion was. They were 100% correct on that. So despite it being memed, it was 100% correct. And obviously the Aphelios coming out just before, you know, and having that OP state kind of didn't help the matters. So it's interesting how that all crossed over. Anyway, Garen, take the dragon. We finally get one back. It's a good dragon for us, as well as we can see with this little bit of a super scaling. I'm saying it's not huge, but you can see this, right? You scale on your passive there with armor and magic resist. So if you can build a stone plate yourself, could you? I think I would. Like, I feel like you can build stone plates on the most random situation, in the most random situations. Like if you build regular Jarvan, right? You could still go stone plate just as like a 5th item, just to win a game. I mean, obviously GA is great, but the stone plate on champions that are damaging melee and want to go in, it can allow you to do so much damage, and then you get the resistances plus a shield just to absorb when you're making that engage, right? It can actually be really, really useful, especially if you have any sort of magic and armor scaling in your kit. So yeah, worth noting. I don't know if you would actually do it though. I mean, maybe. Be kind of troll, actually. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head because I love Stoneplate. I think it's a great item, and I don't think I see it enough. But I'm kind of trying to theory craft a bit where we could put it on champions, but ignore me. Definitely, if you're going to go the Stride Breaker build, you can go the Stoneplate. However, we are going full-on crit-tastic. So we push and leverage that dragon into a... I mean, if you need to deal with a pike, there it is, right? You see him, you silence him, you spin him, and he dies. Then you speed up here and we run away. And we, of course, have the ghost active as well. I mean, that was a lot of speed, too. It's really fast, that Garen. Nothing on the map for us to secure here. It's best we made the assassination pick. We're going to get a few more minions here. We'll take the raptor camp. We have in pocket 2,000 gold after this. No reason to fight and die in these particular situations because obviously there's no objective on the map. We have an in-hit pressure. Although if you see the Syndra and you feel like, hey, I'm an assassin main, why don't I just go and assassinate her? Obviously we have max points in Q and E at this point. Oh, the Q into the Gale Force, into the Silence, into the spin, into the Demacia button. I mean, you can definitely 100% do that in low elo. 100%. Okay, enemy team has respawned, unfortunately. The wave is pushing on the top side. We have here our team sieging in the mid lane. Akali doing the Lee Sin poof poof in and out. Garen will leave the base now with Navori Quick Blade, and obviously here we have a big sword. More AD damages. More crit. Obviously this shift into crit on the IE and the ADC rework items affect champions that can build these things, like Rengar, for example, as well. And he plays Rengar, so there you go. Now, obviously, what you do have an option to do when you are Garen here is split push, right? Because your team are doing quite well and you've kind of started assassinating a lot of people, we can actually go ahead and split push and drive a lot of the pressure up because we want to create a vision line for this Baron right here, okay? Red team is now pushing down the mid lane, Syndra's on the bottom lane, we have 5. We can actually make a pick here if possible. Let's see if the red team recognizes this and disengages. He hooks a Akali, probably not the idea. Garen rotates down to the mid lane, good. So split into cut into numbers, especially since we saw one person down here and people are going to have to deal with this inhib right now, which means we can do that. Ash arrow does hit. Well done, madam. She actually does hit an arrow. Well done. And it wasn't just to the knee, it was to the back of the pike. Silence and kill. Very, very good. We have here the Tryndamere and the Viego shoving the mid lane. And Garen will do the good sirs and say, hello. Anyone want to interact with me? I want to test my very quick blades. We activate our shield there, actually. And we're spinning. Or silencing first and then spinning. We go for the ult, but he actually does press the button just in time, and now we die from it. Oof, mind games there. Tryndamere really going crazy with the spinnings, but we're able to shut him down. So even if you're going to be killed in those situations, you've got to force so much focus. Typically, your team can clean up, but, the comments freaking out. I was like, Wolf, please? So when a jungler wants to clear the camp and drag the Wolf camp, it resets. But when someone's going back to base, 1 HP can go all the way to here. Right? Okay. All right, 20 seconds. Let's speed this up. We are alive. And soon some of the enemy team will not be. So we have Akali top lane, Karma top lane. We have Cassidy moving towards the Baron. It's warded now. We saw that will get placed. Pike's out of position. Viego's going in onto the Cassio here. Garen just says, I'm the assassin now. Flanks backline, goes straight onto the Samira. Gets to kill Demacia's the Pike again. And now that should be a Baron. So here the Tryndamere is splitting to deal with this super mini wave, which of course I have to deal with, which is why if you want to do Barons and get leads and win games, this bottom inhib for Baron is best, both sides. Because someone has to hold it. If they have no TP, they have to walk all the way up. It's a long rotation. And the enemy team will try and sort of set up a pick to get numbers advantage here while this is happening. And usually if you rotate, you'll get shut down on kills and have a lot of fun. So yeah, we've obviously gone for the Storm. I mean, when last did you see anyone build Storm Razor? Silence! Undying Rage activated anyway. Spacing, spacing, spacing. There we go. Miasma is so good. Just kite him out and then kill him afterwards. Syndra's now in the mid lane. See, the whole thing is, right, the Garen has just helped with the Akali to ensure that they never have 5. There's always, like, Pike being assassinated, or Syndra being assassinated, or Tryndamere getting separated. There's always something happening where they simply cannot group as 5, and they could never use their lead, and we just blew the game open, even though we only up to 4K. Well, Akali kills the Pike again. This poor Pike, man. 0-12-7. Not a good game for him. Beautiful ult! Beautiful stun! Beautiful fidget spinning! Nice. Very good. That should be the end of the game. Surrender, surrender, enemy team, please. This is a good game, though. This, for me, was a really nice back-and-forth game showcasing the weakness of the meta. Sorry, the weakness of off-meta junglers, whereby you can definitely be invaded and shoved out, but also how you have to play in order to just stay within touching distance and get to your power spikes. Do I recommend this build as a for serious climbing build to Garen jungler mains? No. If you get very far ahead and you're very good at Garen, maybe. Ideally, I would still say your Stridebreaker Gaming's, your regular itemization is good, but this is definitely something that can be used. However, you're seeing the downside with your squishiness. So you do have to understand your ghost, your spacing, your silencing, your Demacia button, your shielding. You have to understand your champion, when to remove the slows, when to use your tenacity button as well. All of this comes together when you're squishy. Squishy builds on champions like this are only good, alright, if you understand the limitations of your champion. Otherwise, it's better to build a bit more conservative, have the same advantages, but you have a bit more room for errors if you get focused or make a mistake or things like this, right? So, there you go though. Garen Jungle, Garen Master Career. Super fun time. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Don't forget ZaraGG guides for all the live companion guides are linked below. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.